So I think Horace mentioned a couple of things here. So we have this anti-smudge screen as well, which works quite nice. It's actually a half VGA screen as well, quite bright, as you can see. And on the back, we talked about this soft touch. It's a Teflon coat as well, so it should wear really nicely. You shouldn't be getting marks and damage on the back of that as well. So we also have the 3.5mm jack, it's quite popular, and also a 5-megapixel camera as well with autofocus.
So that doesn't have a flash, no?
No flash.
No flash. Any particular reason for that?
No, it's one of the things we're looking at, and we appreciate that people want that, but this device has just got a 5-megapixel autofocus. It's quite good in low light conditions as well, though. So.
Is that the same camera module as on the HTC Touch HD?
I think it's a slightly different one. It's slightly newer. I'll have to check.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay.
So Peter talked a bit about the HTC Sense and what that means. So I'll just take you through the 3 pillars of the HTC Sense and show you what it actually means on a device. So the first one is about making it mine. So this is all about customizing the home screen. So what we have now, we've extended the home experience to 7 pages, and within each of these 7 pages the user is able to basically customize them as they see fit. So essentially you can drag and drop things off the screen, you can obviously move them around, and so if maybe I want the clock at the top, maybe I want to add something different onto my home screen. And one of the big areas of innovation from us here is about the widgets. So we've added quite a number of widgets of various sorts to basically help the user get closer to their contacts, closer to their people. So I can just show you an example of one. Maybe a people widget is quite good. That's too big. And you'll see as well some of the widgets have different sizes, so depending on what you're trying to add, and that's quite handy actually. So a good example of that would be the music widget. So if you've got the space and you want a full screen music experience, and you can have a full screen widget, or if you just want something a little bit smaller, then you can just have the smaller widget as well.
Is there going to be a way to download new widgets?
Yeah, so actually HTC adds the widgets on the device, but if you go to Android Market, you can already download Google widgets as well, and people are free to develop those, and in fact they will work within our home screen. And again, you could just choose. So here's an example of a Android widget. These are the standard ones, but there's already available on market other widgets as well, and you can see they sit perfectly well within the home screen.
Okay.
One final point about the Make It Mine is we have these scenes. So the idea is that you maybe want to switch scenes, a couple of times a day maybe. So what I'm currently using is my daytime scene, but I have what I would call is my social, my nighttime scene as well. And I can switch to that in the evening, and that gives me a whole new home screen that I can customize essentially. That would include the wallpaper, the lock screen wallpaper, and all of these widgets. So you can see on here I actually have a totally different setup essentially of my home screen, and again this is all fully customizable. So I sometimes chat to my mates in Taiwan, so I've added 2 clocks there, one showing the current local time where we are, the other one's showing Taipei time. And I've also added a few shortcuts to some of my social networking sites and things like that I've downloaded from market as well. So you can see how it's quite a flexible home screen. The second part is about staying close. So really this is about this very people-centric communication we have. So if you have a look at a particular person, what we've done is we've brought all of the communication with that person into a single place. So the idea is if you want to do maybe text messages or email or any types of communication with a person, you're not having to jump onto one application, then another, then another. The main area enhancement here is really around the social networking side as well. So what I can do is I can associate a particular contact with a social networking site as well. So Joseph Miller maybe has a Flickr site, so I can actually associate that with his contact. And once I've done that, for either Facebook or Flickr, I'll receive updates and notifications on those sites. And also if I have a look at the albums, so Joseph actually has a couple of albums on Flickr as well. So it's live, I can basically download directly from the Flickr website this particular album from Joseph, and again, the idea is you're staying within the people experience. You're not having to go to some other application somewhere else. A couple of nice features.
The next set of briefings is at 1:30. If you could all check to the back of your lanyards, it says 1:30 on there. Can you please make your way to the reception? Thank you very much.
So a couple of other nice features about this is you've mentioned before about the pinch zoom, and I would say that's part of the discover the unexpected. So there's quite a few different features we've had on the device as well that you maybe just kind of discover as you're using it and go, oh, that's really cool. Another example would be the flash support we've added to the browser as well. So and then I would just go back into my people experience, and the last one would be the kind of history, the communication I've had. So you can see that you can basically, very people-centric. One final thing here is that if I've associated a particular contact with Facebook, then what it'll actually do is it downloads the image from Facebook, so all these will start to associate, and I'll actually get all their Facebook images. You can see an example of there's a Facebook association at the top there. And what happens is when the user updates their Facebook profile picture, fairly seamlessly on the device, you'll be seeing that new Facebook picture on the device as well, which is really nice when you're receiving calls, and generally it's quite a visual experience, and so you want to have a photo, right?
Is there a front video camera on this for video calls?
There's no.
Okay.
The only other thing around the staying close is about these other widgets we've had. So the Twitter widget's another example. So you can sign into your Twitter account, and this widget will actually push updates to you. So while you're still in the home screen, you'll actually be seeing the updates from your Twitter appear. Exactly the same is true of your text messages. You can have those within the home screen as well. If I decide I actually don't care about I don't care about text messages, maybe I actually care about emails, I could add a mail widget. And when I add a mail widget, it would ask me which account, because maybe I'll set up multiple accounts. Do I want my work email? Do I want my home email? And I can choose. So it's really about letting the user decide what they want on their home screen, and it's extremely flexible as well. One other nice feature, so if I'm big into my music, I'll just add a music player for you. So maybe I use music a lot, so maybe I want a full screen widget. One other thing to this though is if I'm actually playing music and I've got the device locked and I unlock it, I actually get music playback controls within the lock screen as well, so I don't even have to unlock. On the headset itself as well, we've got playback controllers as well. So I can just show you the browser, that's also extremely powerful. So it's a Rolling Stone site. One of the things about the pinch zoom is it does a text reflow as well. So if I just zoom into maybe a particular section of the website for you, you can see it'll just reflow the text according to kind of. So it's actually very nice. On this page as well, we'll also have some Flash content, and we've actually added Flash within the browser. So this advert here you can see is actually animated. It's actually running live Flash support. And we also have a standalone Flash player as well. So, and there's all sorts of little things. As you're using the device, you start to discover these new features that maybe you weren't aware of. Probably the only other thing to mention is around the business support as well. So one of the things we've done is on the email clients, we've actually support Exchange as well now. So you can have your work email set up as well, and that actually synchronizes not just your email but your contacts and calendar as well. And one of the nice things about that again is that you can distinguish between the different contacts. So here you can see these are all Google contacts. But actually, I might, if I've synchronized and had lots of Exchange contacts, I would also see them, and I'd be able to distinguish between the two. And even when I'm adding a new contact, I can choose what type of contact I want to add, and it would then synchronize with that service as well.
Okay. Is there any way to choose like more than one? Could you put a contact into your work Exchange as well as into, say, Gmail? Or?
So that's one of the areas we're looking at. You can't do that yet, but I would say that's something we would love to do as well. We just need to be clever about it, I would say, to make sure it works so well. So, yeah, is there anything else you'd like to see? We've kept some of the good features as well, like the notification bar that was really popular, so we haven't taken that out. You also have the full programs menu, so you haven't lost any functionality there. We've just been adding things and enhancing.
The camera, obviously 5 megapixel stills. Does it record video yet?
Yeah, video recording supported as well.
Great.
And if you're in the album as well, you can play back video as well. You obviously have flash video support and YouTube as well. Here you can see an example. So I'm in the album now, which is fine. But I can also then look at all my contacts who've got Flickr accounts. And it'll actually go away and check all the people with Flickr accounts, and then it'll go away, check what albums they've got, and you can actually browse all the Flickr albums from within our own HTC album experience. So it just makes accessing these types of services a lot easier. My favourite part really is when you start the device, you associate the device with maybe a Facebook Flickr account, and then it already starts to check associations with those two. Facebook, it will say, right, we found these names, and we think they're also on your Facebook profile. Would you like to link them? And once you've done that, this is what you're seeing here. So have a look at some of Eric's photos. So this is all live. It's all within the HTC album experience as well. So the user hasn't had to start some separate application or something, a different experience. And one of the advantages with that as well is that the user experience and the things that people are used to in an album, such as the zooming control and the pinch zooming, the panning, all those controls and the look and feel from HTC, they get all that as well. So they don't have to, they're not using a separate application with slightly different functionality. It's all fully integrated.
So this is trying to get it over the Wi-Fi connection here.
Yeah, which is probably not fantastic.
No.
The device obviously supports Wi-Fi, GPS, HSDPA enabled up to 7.2 as well, so it's pretty powerfully connected. I think it might struggle here. But it's really nice, and you can see there'll be Facebook accounts, or you can just go back into your regular album experience. I can show you just some of the panning and zooming as well, so you can do that in landscape. And then if I click on a photo of my girlfriend, I can zoom in and use it.
Strange, I recognise her from the advert for today. Yeah.
And we also got the touch zoom focus as well.
Okay. Does landscape orientation work in all of the apps?
So most of them, where it's applicable, I think there's a couple of applications where we didn't feel that it was necessarily maybe to have a landscape mode, but yeah, so even in things like text messaging, so we have a landscape keyboard as well, so you can switch. So it's not everywhere, but then in some cases we don't feel we need it. So things like music, things like album, where you have that large visual experience, you can switch to landscape. Obviously the browser as well switches to landscape, those things.
So this keyboard, that's changed, hasn't it, over
let me talk
standard?
Yeah, I'll take you through a bit. So a couple of the cool things about the keyboard is the error correction and the spelling check, but also the error connection. So as you're using this keyboard, it actually starts to learn your behavior, so to speak, and it actually improves with time. So you can already see it's pretty responsive, pretty accurate, but actually the more you use it, it starts to detect maybe you always hit one way to the left or the right, and it basically adjusts the sensitivity. So it actually gets more and more accurate. It's very nice. We also added a couple more keyboards as well, so for people with maybe larger fingers or just want to use the more traditional style of keyboard input, we've added like a phone keypad style as well.
And does that support T9?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You can see, and then you can choose from one of the predictive text as well. So for keyboards, the 3 ones HTC's added, they're really nice actually. Is there anything else?
No, I think we're good.